In this video, we're going to talk about how to use the greatest common factor and factoring by grouping in order to factor trinomials. So what will our steps be for this set of problems? Well, the first thing you're always going to do is take a look at your trinomial and find the greatest common factor. If there is one, pull it out. Then you are going to find two numbers that multiply to what a times c is equal to and add to b. Then you're going to split the middle term into those two numbers. After that, you're going to be able to factor it by grouping, which is really just pulling the greatest common factor out of the first two terms and the greatest common factor out of the last two terms. Let's look at this problem here. X squared minus 2x minus 35. First of all, there is no greatest common factor, so we get to work with it directly. Now, a times c, my a is 1, and my c is negative 35. So a times c is negative 35, and my b, as you can see, is negative 2. What two numbers multiply to negative 35 and add to negative 2? Well, that's going to be negative 7 and 5. That means I'm going to split my negative 2x in the middle to minus 7x plus 5x. So this is now what I'm going to factor by grouping. So what is the greatest common factor of the first two terms? Well, that's going to be x. So I can pull an x out of it, and I get x times x minus 7. Then we look at my last pair, 5x minus 35. What do they share? Well, that will be a 5. So I can write plus 5 times x minus 7. Now notice that both of my terms that I have now each have an x minus 7. So I'm going to pull that out in the front, and that leaves me with times x plus 5. And now that trinomial is completely factored. What if I gave you another problem that looks like this? 6x cubed plus 7x squared minus 5x. Is there a greatest common factor this time? Yes, there is. So there is an x that we're going to pull out of every term. Then what's left inside my parentheses is still factorable. So I'm going to see if I can find out how to do that. So I'm going to start with a times c, 6 times negative 5 is negative 30, and b is 7. What two numbers multiply to negative 30 and add to 7? Well, the two that I came up with are 10 and negative 3. So I can split that 7x into 10x minus 3x. Notice that I still carry down that x on the outside of the parentheses because it's still part of the problem. So let's continue factoring by grouping. So again, I carry down my x, but now the greatest common factor of my first two terms inside the parentheses is 2x. And when I pull those out, I'm left with 3x plus 5. Now, when I look at my last two terms, it doesn't immediately look like they have a greatest common factor, but you can actually pull out a minus 1 from both of them. And then you're still left with 3x plus 5, like the beginning of my inside parentheses. So now I have my x, and I can factor out a 3x plus 5 with it, leaving me with 2x minus 1 inside my second set of parentheses. And now this trinomial is completely factored. And that is how you use the greatest common factor and grouping to factor trinomials.